Welcome to another technical graphics lesson, this time a rotations long question from 2019. And as you can see here, it says the elevation and end view of a 3D graphic of a sign for a coffee shop are shown. The sign includes a semi-octagon ABCDEF. The line EG is a tangent from E. The curve JKL is a circular arc. The curves QRS is concentric with JKL. Draw the given elevation and end view. The sign is rotated at 45 degrees through point O as shown by the broken line. Project the plan. Now.
So record. So what we have here, I'm starting off with the elevation, okay, and I'm marking the outline for the elevation. Everything really light at this stage, okay. I don't want to be doing anything heavy. I am taking the measurements as they are given in the question and I am applying them. And I am creating essentially what is a grid within which I can create the object or draw the object. Now, we're going to distinguish here in a moment between what parts are what. So you can see here I'm putting dimensions into this kind of the center of this box at the moment, and that is for the coffee cup itself. Okay, I'm going to heavy into detail. This is the bracket where the sign is hanging from up the top. I can heavy down the sides down here as far as they'll be points J and L when we get to them, and the top half of the coffee cup here, and then the handle on the coffee cup. Okay. Now, the handle on that coffee cup, it has a radius of 20, okay? So, what I'm going to do here now then, after I've done the handle, is I'm going to do that octagonal bottom. Now, well, as I do that, I'm putting the compass in the corner of my construction line here, going to the center point, and swinging it back, okay? Both ways. That allows me to construct the octagon. So, have a little look at that, pay attention to it. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create the tangent. So just like we did the last day, from point E to the center of the circle, bisect the distance, find the center point, get your compass and measure to either the center point or point E and swing an arc to intersect the handle of the cup. That gives us point G, the exact point of tangency. And that's really, really important because if you just line it up and draw a line to it, it's not going to work. Okay? Now, with that in mind, we have our curves down the bottom, and what I'm doing here is I'm connecting points J and K and I'm going to bisect that line. So remember when we're finding the center point for a curve, we don't know the radius, we're going to extend that line back to hit the center line. I call this point L, or Y, sorry, and I get my compass and I go to Y and I measure to J and I swing it through K and L. I then step back up 10 mil and then I repeat the curve again. Okay? Now, I was a tiny bit out here for some reason, I don't know why, but look, it worked out okay in the end. So, I have there the elevation complete, and I've coloured it in a little bit there as well. All good, and now I'm going to the end view position. So I have the line here at the side, and now I have the rotated line drawn in lightly. Why? Because I wanted to find the length of that rotated line, the dotted line in the question. So all I do is put the compass on point O, go down to the bottom, and swing it up to hit that line, and then I can put in the line as a heavy dashed line. Take all your points now across from the elevation to hit the line coming straight down from O, and then put the compass on O and swing each of those points onto that broken dashed line, the rotated line. Okay? Now you'll see here I'm labelling, very conscious that things are labelled properly, and you'll see how I use the labels as we go along. But right now I'm focusing on dividing up this quarter of the circle here on the handle. So I take points 1 and 2, 60 degrees, 30 degrees, and I swing them around onto the rotated line as well. And point G. I only need that amount of points. I don't need to divide up the whole semicircle or anything like that. Once I've that done, I am writing in all of the points where they are on the rotated line. That's going to help me when I go to look back through the question, especially when I'm forming the plan view, that I can just very briefly glance back and see where I'm coming from and what point is on what line. You can see here I'm adding directional arrows just to show you where the points are coming from. And the standard lines are in blue, and the lines for the handle of the cup are in green. Okay? And you can see I'm highlighting that those lines, when they're brought down from the rotated line, they're brought straight down to the XY line. Okay? And I've highlighted that because some people will project directly from the rotated line down into the plan view. and that can be messy. So I've projected all those points down to the XY line, and now I've brought them back at 45 degrees into the plan view. Okay? How far? Well, you drop down the side of the plan view, or the elevation, there and on the other side as well. And we draw all the lines across. Essentially what we're creating here is a massive grid of all our points. Everything. I'm just drawing it down, all the points, drawing them across. And you look at this and you might go, well, how are we going to locate our points? Well, one at a time. Okay? Now you'll see here, what I'm doing with these curves here is I need additional points on these curves now. So I'm using existing projection lines that are passing through the curves. So for example, I had a line coming down here, and I put 2 points on it, one for the small curve inside and one for the bigger curve outside. And you can see now I've transferred them around with a pink pen this time so we can separate them. And when I come to drawing those out, I'll be able to distinguish what is what. So now I'm focusing on this top part, the hanging part, the hinged sign that the sign hangs from. So that's there, the bracket if you want to call it. Now I'm focusing on the curve. Of course, I have all them points in green and I have them all labelled, so I'm able to pick them up wherever they are. And I build my picture from there. Okay? And you can see, sometimes you see me going across, down and over, just to kind of highlight that, I'm following a certain point and that I'm being as accurate as I can be. Okay? And that's what this question is all about. It's about attention to detail. It's about tracking your points, labelling your points. Okay? And when we go to put the picture together, it's only then we use it heavy, when we're sure and certain that everything is in the correct place. So you see me here now with that curve at the bottom there. I'm doing it lightly with pencil first, and then I'm going to heavy over now with my darker pen. Okay? And wasn't my most accurate curve, but it's does the job. And I do the handle here also as well. Now, I add a little bit of render to it as well. And just to match up with the render I had in the surfaces above, so we can see exactly what is what. And you see the view we've obtained here now is a little more squished, okay, than the previous elevation view. Why? Because that sign has been rotated out at 45 degrees, and we are now looking down on top of it as it's rotated out. And that is the job done. Okay? Remember to click and subscribe for more amazing content.